The question is, how do I make speaker boxes for the back of my camper van? Well, I've got these speaker covers from a Transporter T4 from the front of the dash. So I wanted to make something on the back to match. And I've got the 4-inch speakers, which cost me about €15, thereabouts. They're nice JVC speakers. And then I've got the standard screws for fitting them. What I found then was looking for a box that I could build the speakers into. This seems to have a nice light MDF quality to it. And my thinking is to somehow cut this box in half and form the shape of the box to fit the back of the van just above the rear door. So the trick would be to carefully cut the box in half. Now I'm going to have to need to get the speaker in there, so that, yeah, half seems to be about right. And put the speaker down maybe towards the bottom of the box like that, to come out the other side, of course. And then there'd be a bit of a lip here left to be able to mount it on the back of the van with 2 screw holes. So the outside of the box then could be covered in some material that will camouflage it nicely into the van. Now, the outcome of this, of course, as I say, the proof of the pudding will be in the eating, and we'll see how it turns out. So that's stage 1, the idea. We've got the speakers, we've got a box, and we've got covers. Now, how's that all going to work out? Time will tell. So here's the template, and the idea is to cut the hole, then use the 4 metal clips, of course, and the screws, which will clip in nicely and hold the speakers in very solidly, I might add, into the box. Okay, so that's what I got to do. I got to place this somewhere here, say on center with these holes, draw the circle, cut the hole, and then mount the position for the screws to be able to fit the speakers. Now, at some point I'm going to have to cut the box in half, and I certainly don't want to interfere with the integrity of the box, so I'm going to have to go gently with my cutting. It was easy enough to pierce through the thin MDF or fiberboard with a penknife, and I'm going to use the Leatherman here to continue to cut the circle out. Here's the first hole cut out. So just to fit the speaker then, just to see how it looks. Fits in there nice and snug. And I have the screws and the brackets then to secure those to the box. So then I'm going to cut the second hole, and then separate the 2 boxes by cutting the box in half, and then figure out, am I going to use these mountings on here? I'm still not too sure about that, but we'll see. Alright. Might just leave it and eventually get mesh covers to cover these. Now the covering for the boxes, well, you know, mainly it's just to find a way to create a nice colour that'll match with the van, that'll blend, won't make them look too out of place or dorky. You still want them to be innovative, you know, crafty, but not gaudy by any means. I now have the 2 holes cut for the speakers, so before I mount those I need to separate the box into 2, and then I can mount the speakers and decide on how to trim the boxes to fit in the van. or where they're going to go. I have marked the positions for the clips, and these screws then will just, might have to make a little hole there, but these screws then will screw through the clips, and you can see these clips will receive the screws on the back face. Now, so to get those clips to clip nicely on there, you just squeeze them down a tad so that they will grip nicely when you push them on, and they won't move around. So they're held in place nicely now to receive the screws, and I'll be able to just mount the speaker like that and screw in the screws gently. That should hold the speakers nice and firmly in place. So that'll be the build of it. Now the finish of it, as I said, is going to depend on how I can fit them to the van and whatever covering I decide to use. But for now, that's the process. Mark the screw holes, fit the clips, drill or screw the holes, and attach the speakers. Okay, so once I have those all set, ready to mount the speakers, I'll cut the box in half. Now, the reason I didn't cut the box yet is because the box is much more stable while it's still fully intact, rather than shaking it to pieces, drilling holes and cutting things. So that's the idea. I just used the brad awl on my Leatherman here to make a pre-start on the screw holes, because it's very hard to get the screws to start, especially when they're not self-tapping. And then this should, by holding the board from behind, it shouldn't shake up the box too much, just to make a slight indent there, and have a starter hole made to make it easier for putting the screws in. Mounting the screws now is quite simple, and they go nicely into the board. And just don't over tighten them, because the material is quite soft. And that's got the 4 screws mounted in the speaker box. Now I'll take the speaker back out again, of course. I'm going to trim the box then to fit the van, whichever way I'm going to put them in, I'm not sure. And I think just leave them the shape that they are. I might just spray paint them with the same paint as the paint for the van, and it'd be white, and just or grey, one of the two, or black. That's another possibility. But spray paint might be the easiest, and leave the finish of the box the way it is. I think the box is quite unique, and it won't look too dorky. It'll just be fun. The fitting of the speakers to the van now involves 2 different surfaces. On this side, it's a slope surface with a bit of a recess. So I'm going to fit the speaker into the recess. And on this side, I've got a cupboard. So I'm going to cut the box straight on this side and with a slope on this side. So sloped speaker will fit into the recess, nice and tidy, just behind the headrest. And I'll do the same on the other side, only the speaker will be cut vertically with no slope to attach to the side of the cupboard. So that should give us speakers just behind the heads of the passengers, and hopefully not too intrusive, and it seems to fit nice and flush with the side of the van there, right nicely into the recess, and is vertical, out of the way. And when it's a grey colour, I think, or black, it will be less than visible, or less visible anyway. And it won't stand out as anything out of the ordinary. Alright, that's getting there. And the wiring will be close by there, so I should be able to slip that in there somehow. Okay, that'll do nicely. Now it fits some kind of an attachment bracket. That'll screw to the top, or anyway, that's another thing to figure out. Okay, my speaker boxes are finished. One is sloped to suit the side of the van, and the other is straight to suit the side of the cupboard. Now, the colour of these is still not done, but I think I'll leave that until I'm repainting the cupboards in the van, and I'll paint them the same colour. I'm just going to leave them as they are with these little edges on them, because it's characteristic in itself. It'll be very functional, and I'm sure the sound out of them will be just the finest. So they're nice JVC speakers, so I'm looking forward to hearing what the sound quality is going to be like. I'm not going to go off spending 10 euros on a can of grey spray paint. I think it would be a waste. If I was going to do anything, I would just give it a spray paint of undercoat white for now, but I'm in a bit of a hurry, so I'm just going to mount them as they are, connect them, and enjoy my 2 days away with the van. So that's it. Speakers are installed. On this side, I can cover the speaker with stretchable carpet to hide it or get it to blend with the side panel. This one I can paint grey the same as the cupboard, or insert the speaker into the cupboard and put the box on the inside, because it would have plenty of space there. That space is never used, and it would be a nice way to keep the speaker flush with the cupboard surface. But for now it'll do, and if I want I can paint it grey the same as the cupboard, and this one would be grey the same as the carpet. So I'm happy with the result. The sound is great, so when I'm camping I'll have music out the back, or the people in the back of the van will be able to hear the music clearly, and they can Bluetooth their favourites from the internet through to the radio and enjoy the music as we travel. One last feature, of course, of having the speakers at the back of the van is the remote control. So when you turn on the music, you can adjust the volume. So for camping out, it's easy to use the remote. Happy camping!